So for me, there are two different kinds of confidence. There is learned confidence, and then there is natural, innate confidence. As an entrepreneur, especially if you are online, if you're on the online space at all, which even if you're a brick and mortar, you still need to have an online presence, whether it's your website, social media, whatever it is, there is a huge insecurity that comes up for most people when it comes to being online, because your business is an extension of you. So it can feel really vulnerable to put yourself out there, to, be sort of at the mercy of your audience. And not only is marketing kind of uncomfortable, selling can be really uncomfortable. But typically when you start a business, it's because you have the skill set in something specific, right? That you maybe want to change the world through whatever it is that you want to sell. However, in order to sell that thing, you also have to have a viable business, which means you have to have a brand. And then after you have the brand, you need to learn how to sell the brand. And usually the first couple of years of your business, it's just you. You're wearing all the hats, you're doing all the things. And you sort of stray from the passion that got you started because you have this like burning desire to share your passion with the world. And now you're caught in the hustle of marketing and branding and selling and all the things that are really out of your comfort zone. So again, there's two types of confidence that I'm going to talk about today. One is learned, and then the other is the confidence in yourself and in your product or service. Now, empowered boundary settings is essentially having control over your own life. And that can look like anything from your schedule, not letting your clients book at any time that they want. It can look like people's access to you. Maybe you use DMs on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe you give your personal cell phone number. Just boundaries all the way around with how you let people into your space and how much control you have over your own life in your own business. So typically when we're building a business, we sort of self-sacrifice. We sort of know we have to eat shit for a little while until we can get our bearings. However, it takes a lot of wherewithal to recognize that we've lost control of our day-to-day. And as business owners, we want to evolve out of the day-to-day hustle to week, month-to-month, quarter-to-quarter until we have annual goals. And you can't get there if you're not plugging the energetic leaks inside your business that are draining your bandwidth. So although these two topics sound sort of conceptual, like how does this turn into a tangible part of my business? How does this actually help me grow, make money? They're so important. And so many new entrepreneurs skip this step. They just go after like sales, marketing, money management, and they kind of forget the internal work that needs to be done in order to regulate their nervous system to all of the up levels that being an entrepreneur comes with. So if you are not internally balanced and regulated, when you have a triggering moment, like something that maybe you have to sell something online and it's all of your inner saboteur, all of the voices in your head are coming to the surface to tell you not to do it, why it's going to be embarrassing, why everyone's going to look at you differently, why no one's going to sign up, all of these things that are coming to the surface. If you do not have the tools in your toolbox to turn that brick wall into just a minor speed bump, then you're going to be stopped in your tracks. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to talk about is knowing your brand. And this is sort of basic beginner stuff. And this masterclass isn't about branding, but it is important that we kind of preface the conversation with this. So knowing your brand, knowing your niche, knowing your audience, knowing who you are and why you are the perfect fit for someone's unique problem or desire. You need to niche down. And there is a lot of school of thought to this, and you could Google it and come up with a bazillion different answers. What I'm going to tell you is niching down is not boxing yourself in. It's knowing that you are not everything to everyone, because if you are, you will find it very difficult to grow a community. And what we're doing, especially on the online space, is growing a community of like-minded people. So you can have conversations, you can nurture relationships, you can have the engagement that you're so craving, right? When you post something and ask a question or put a sticker in your stories, you want people to engage with you. And that know, like, trust factor that is so necessary, especially on the online space, right? This is a multi-sensory experience. So not only am I listening to you, but I'm watching you. I'm reading what you have to say. And it's sort of like the emotional pull. Think about the people that you follow on social media, whether it's for business or pleasure, and think about the people that have just such a magnetic authenticity to them that you know right away, I like this person or I don't. That is what we're going for. We want to position you as the industry authority, as a leader, as an elevated expert, as a household name. So maybe someone isn't quite ready to sign up for you now, but when they are, or when they know someone who is, they're going to have you in their mind because you have done a really persistent and consistent job of digging your heels into your little corner of the internet. So part of niching down is niching in. So not only do I teach my clients how to do the client avatar, the ideal client avatar, and all the work that comes with who do you want to sell to, who do you want to work with, what person is the perfect fit for your product or service. Not only do you need to know who that is, so you can develop marketing and branding that supports that person consuming your content, but you need to niche in. You need to really dig into why someone should hire you. No offense, but you're not reinventing the wheel. Probably what you are selling or promoting is something that's been done before. And it's always available cheaper and faster. That's why Amazon is in business, right? So if you are not selling yourself, whether it's your personal brand or your business brand, if you're not consistently working on your authenticity and showing people how accessible you are, how relatable you are, how available you are, if you are not working on the things that make you and your brand unique, you're doing your audience a disservice. You want to create a brand that is so consumable, so palatable, so digestible, so bingeable, that when someone comes to your page, you're not just talking about the thing you sell. So once you've established your brand guidelines, this is like your mission statement, your vision statement, your brand voice, colors, aesthetics, typography. You've built your website. Yes, you should have a website. You've built your social media channels and everything is consistent. So if someone were to find you one place before another, they would get the same essence, the same message as if they had a face-to-face conversation with you, because you're not always going to be there to make that sale. Maybe you'll be there to close the sale, but you need your online presence to work for you. Once your brand is done, we move on to marketing. Marketing is how you invite people into your space, how you invite people to work with you. Now, sometimes sales can feel gross and scary, and that is usually a red flag to me that you are kind of stuck in like the convincing and the desperation. If you truly believe in what you have will literally change someone's life, even if it's something small, even if it's something short term, you are bigger than the product or service you're selling. This is transformative. This is a connection. This is essentially going to make someone feel better or be better or perform better. And marketing is the connection, is the bridge between a complete stranger and the transformation that they desire. If you believe that you are capable and worthy of helping your audience, you have to market. That's a no-brainer. If you're stuck in convincing, oh, like this is the reason why you need to buy it, or desperate, like, oh, please, it's 20% off. If you're stuck in the feels, the icky feels with your marketing and your sales, that to me is a clear indicator that you've lost your why. Because your why, the size of your why, is directly proportionate to the volume of the inner saboteur in your mind. When you're selling something and you forget who it's for, you forget why you started, you forget how big your mission is, and it's all about you and what do I look like? What do I sound like? What are people going to think about me? That inner saboteur voice is very loud. But when you remember, this isn't really fucking about me. This is about the life I'm going to change. This is about the connection I'm going to make. This is about me getting bigger and helping more people and serving. Entrepreneurship is the greatest act of service. When you can grow that why and remember how big the why is, the inner saboteur voice is just smaller. It will never go away either, which is why actively working on your confidence, actively regulating your nervous system is essential to long-term success as an entrepreneur. So that why you started, that kind of comes to the innate confidence that you have in yourself, right? And that doesn't mean like physically you're confident or socially you're confident. It's confidence in your product or service, in your mission, in the inevitable success of the thing that you want to do. You would not have started your entrepreneurial journey if you didn't have a little bit of a flicker, of a flame, of a spark that got you going. And it is your responsibility to feed that flame daily. And you are also responsible for allowing yourself to have ebbs and flows in your energy and in your business. You are supposed to have quiet times. You are supposed to have really prosperous times. And this is all relative. Prosperous to you might be $1,000, prosperous to someone else might be $100,000. But it is the nature of seasons, of having an entrepreneurial journey that is seasonal. And that doesn't mean, oh, it's wedding season in my business, so I have a busy month. That means your energy cannot stay the same, whether it's high or low. So when you're having a low moment, lean into it. When you're having a high moment, lean into it. Either way, neither are permanent. Neither are staying. The goal is to kind of spiral upward, right? Always and always upward, but there's dips and there's ups. There's lows and there's highs, right? But you're always moving upward. That's why regulating your nervous system is really, really vitally important, because the problems in your business will never go away. It's your reaction to them. It's that emotional intelligence, that EQ, that your emotional response and reaction to things is smaller. So you have more brain power to be solution oriented and focused on the outcome. Business development, entrepreneurial development is the greatest personal development deep dive that you could put yourself through. It is extremely vulnerable and risky, because think about it. If you go get a 9-to-5, you're being spoon fed your tasks, you're getting a paycheck. So you don't have to really face these things. They come up. We all have insecurities and things like that. But when you're at work being fed tasks, you don't have to face them in the same way as if you were working for yourself, wearing all of the hats in the business, trying to create a viable business, learning so many things at the same time. It's incredibly intimidating. And your ego's job is to keep you safe. That inner saboteur, that ego, whatever you want to call it, is here to keep you safe. So it knows that right now, wherever we're at is safe. Even if our bank account is low, even if we're overwhelmed, we know we're alive, and that's really the only goal. That's the only thing that it cares about, right? And we love our ego for keeping us alive and safe. And any kind of change is a threat to your ego, even if that change is positive, even if letting more money in, building a bigger audience, even if that's a positive change, it's still a change, and it will disrupt the status quo, which is keeping us alive. So your ego is going to show you all of the validation in why it's a terrible idea to change. It's your job to soothe yourself through the evolution of your business. Innate confidence, like we were just saying, it really comes from the beginning. It comes from the why. And a lot of your confidence really is, shaped in childhood and early adulthood, and how you hold yourself and present yourself. And you need the confidence in your own voice and in your own thoughts in order to build a brand that is sustainable and that has a wide reach. Hiding behind things, playing small, burning out quickly, overwhelming yourself quickly, these are all signs to me that your confidence is low. I believe in really digging deep into finding out what your zone of genius is. My definition of zone of genius is the area in which you could do this thing forever. If all of your needs were met, you would still do this thing for free. Your cup is so overflowing with this natural ability that people can tap into it and you will never run out. Think about the things that you do in your life that exhaust you. Maybe it's speaking, maybe it's creating things, maybe whatever it is, and they exhaust you when you're done with it. You really have to reset. And then think about the other things that you're like, I could just do this forever. Like, why can't this be my job? That's your zone of genius. That is your zone of genius. And to excavate that, to figure out what that is, that's where your confidence lies. That's that innate confidence where you're like, this is easy for me. Turning that into a viable business, it requires strategy and intention. Otherwise, you just have a hobby or a passion project. A lot of people get caught in this area too. A lot of hobbyists or passion project people, philanthropists, people who like to donate their time, volunteer, they're like, I can turn this into a business, but they're stuck in passion that they don't know how to turn that into strategy. You need to have the balance, whether you call it masculine and feminine, creativity and strategy. The balance is required to have a successful business. And there's nothing wrong with having a passion project or a hobby. Not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. And I've seen entrepreneurship chew up and spit out the most worthy and deserving of people. It is difficult because of that personal development part, because of wearing all the hats, because it takes a lot of work, and because some people don't want to do the work. Most people are afraid to put in the time, to take risks, to look at themselves in the mirror, to sacrifice time, relationships. Most people don't have the drive and the bandwidth to commit to a long-term journey like entrepreneurship. This is why I usually recommend personal development books, podcasts, whatever it is, to my clients as we're going through the entrepreneurial process. Because although I'm a business coach, marketing coach, if you don't have enough wherewithal on your own personal development journey, it will rear its ugly head in your business development. Because who you are in one area of your life is who you are in another area. Who you are in your romantic relationships is the same person that you are in your sales relationships with your potential customers and clients. It is so vital to be working on yourself in a holistic way at all times. This is why consistency and persistence is very important to up that confidence. So what we were saying before is that innate confidence, what you're born with, what you already have inside of you, that zone of genius that is vital to tap into. That's part of your brand. That's part of your messaging. That's part of your marketing. That's why it's easy to be consistent and to show up, because you have the fire inside of you, have the overflowing cup. It's not always easy to come up with a content idea, to come up with a caption, but it's easy to feel your why because you are consistently operating in your zone of genius. And then there's the confidence of unlearned or not yet learned business strategies. Maybe it's accounting. Maybe it's marketing. Maybe it's sales. Maybe it's fill in the blank. You are not expected to know every single thing. You're not. So I'm asking you to kind of release the responsibility that you're putting on yourself, this heavy burden of, I have to do everything all the time by myself. Caveat to that, you sort of do at the beginning, but you're not expected to be an expert. You're an expert in your zone of genius. That's why you started. You need to learn the other things in order to have a viable business. And then one day, when you do have a sort of a well-oiled machine set up, that's when you can outsource and you can hire that bookkeeper or the accountant, or that's when you can hire that social media manager, because you've established the foundation and you already learned a little bit about the general operations of these systems. So you can outsource them and be a co-creator in the evolution of your business. Some people just don't want to deal with things like social media. It's so overwhelming. It's so much pressure. If I just had the followers, if I just had I just want someone else to do it. And then I'll get back to it when things are easier. I like to use the analogy of like having children and being like, oh, the toddler stages are so difficult. I just want someone else to come and change the diapers, feed them, take care of them, deal with the nap schedule. And then when they're older, then I will hang out and it'll just be easier. And it's like, no, if you want to have a healthy relationship with your business, because that's what it is, everything is a relationship, then you need to put in the time and the effort now. So learning systems in your business in order to up your confidence is crucial. Sometimes it's as simple as making a list of all of the things that are taking up mental space now that you should be doing that you haven't found time to do. Maybe it's email marketing, following up with leads, cleaning the storefront. Whatever it is, make a giant list. Prioritize that list. Urgency, what needs to get done, not what you want to get done, but what actually needs to get done. Then, once you can see the top things that need to get done first, take a look at your resistance level to those things. Where can you learn more to feel safer in your endeavor of completing the task? Finding the trust in yourself to get shit done is going to be a game changer for your business. If you're forever just looking at email marketing as something you don't want to do, something you're not good at, something that doesn't have a good ROI, something that isn't worth it, but then there's this other part of you saying, nope, you got to get it done. It's important. You got to get it done. Those two conflicting parts are going to be a disservice for your results. Set the time in your schedule, which we're going to get into the empowered boundary settings in a bit, and also the scheduling. Set a time in your schedule to do the research on how email marketing could be valuable, how to set up a email sequence or a workflow, which platform is the best one, how often you should be. Do your due diligence, do the work, study the thing.